Claude and ChatGPT is in a full-blown race, but everyone's timeline is saying, I'm switching to Claude. But ChatGPT knows you and knows your voice, your ideas, and going to Claude feels like you're starting all over and you just got used to this AI thing. But you don't have to start over because I didn't. And in this video, I'm gonna show you my full Claude setup. I'm gonna show you how I took my info from ChatGPT into Claude, how I set up my memory, but then the most important part is how I got it to sound like me, how I got it to have my systems, and how I stopped using it as just a search engine and turned it into a full-blown content team. So you could go from this to this. Let's start. So most people don't know about this button, but this is going to be the solution to take your information from ChatGPT all the way into Claude so you can stop being generic. So you're going to go into settings and you're going to go into capabilities. Right here is going to say import memory from other AI providers. And you're going to hit start import. This is going to give you a prompt that this is what you're going to put into ChatGPT. So here's ChatGPT. I just put the prompt in and it gives me everything from instructions to identity to careers to projects. And all I have to do is hit that copy, go back into Claude and paste it right here to add to memory. Now that's the quick way that's going to get you started. But if you want all of your data from ChatGPT, you're going to go into settings and you're going to go into data control and you're going to hit export. Now this is going to get everything, so it's going to take a little bit, sometimes a few hours. But even before you do that, so it can save it, you have to turn on your memory. And so you're going to want to make sure search and reference chats and generate memory from chat history is turned on. And let's just say you forgot how to get there. Go to the description and there's a link that Claude gives you a page that it's just a press of a button and it will take you straight to the settings of where you get this prompt. Now Claude has your data, but we can't just dump it there. We have to give it some type of direction. This is where projects come in. From all the prompts that you were using in ChatGPT, we're now going to organize it a little bit better and put it into projects. So here are a few of mine to help me create content. From carousel makers to tweet engine, album architecture. So you can see that I have everything that I would do in projects. And I would put my instructions, which is AKA the prompts that I would use, right here. And so I don't have to keep repeating it over and over again. I just have to go into this project and go, help me make a carousel about this particular topic, and it does everything for me. For me personally, I had like hundreds of chats open. So it was getting hard to find certain things. So projects allow me to be more organized now. But here's where most people stop. And it's the reason why Claude still feels like work instead of a partner. Just because it knows you and it has an understanding of you, you haven't gotten specific with your brand voice. You haven't gotten specific with how you write and other systems that you have. As of this recording,
websites built with Claude Code are easy to spot. They look the same and are clearly AI. But what if I told you this beautiful website was built entirely with Claude Code in just a couple of minutes? The difference isn't the tool, it's the way you set it up. So I'm going to show you the 3 levels of building with Claude Code, from the most basic all the way to the exact framework I used, so you can copy it. So by the end of the video, you also will be able to create this exact website I built with Claude Code. Level number 1. Simple prompting. But before we can start building websites with Claude Code, we first need an AI code editor. The best one is Microsoft Visual Studio Code. It's free and it has everything what we need. So we first download it and install it. Once installed, you should see something like this. The first thing you want to do is to click here on this icon and type in here Claude Code and select the Claude Code plugin and click install. Then we go here to our file system and click open folder. Let's call it demo1 and open it. Now you should see here on the top this little icon. It's for Claude Code. But before we can start, you need first a Claude Code Pro account, because then Claude Code is included. And once you're a heavy user, you can switch easily to Max account to have higher rate limits. Alright, let's get started. We prompt now Claude Code to build the website. Build me a landing page for Kovo Robotics. We sell a personal home robot called Kovo that follows voice commands, carries things, and learns your daily routines. By the way, I highly recommend you also get Whisper Flow so you don't have to type everything. It gives you incredible speed to text since you can talk faster than you can type. Let's see what results we get with simple prompting with Claude Code. By the way, I added do not use any skill since Claude Code is actually using skills automatically. I will explain skills in detail in level 2. If you don't have any skills installed, you don't need to mention this. Alright, Claude Code just finished. Let's see the results. So this is the result. If you want to see the website, you click here on this file, click Reveal in Finder, and simply drag and drop this file into Chrome. And that's what we got so far. Too much text, generic layout, and everywhere purple. And there's a reason for that. The most famous website framework, Tailwind, used this exact color as its default color 5 years ago. And that's why it's all over the internet. So AI learned that purple is the default. Even the founder of Tailwind said, I would like to formally apologize for making every button in Tailwind UI Indigo 500 5 years ago, leading every AI-generated UI on Earth also being Indigo, like you can see here also. But let's see the rest of the website. We have here some boring animation. Here's the typical free grid layout we see everywhere on AI-generated websites. Here again, purple. Here's some inconsistency in color, too much text again here. But in general, it looks pretty good compared to somebody who would do it by hand everything. But comparing to what we want to build today, what Claude Code generated on the first try, it's not really good. I mean, sure, we could prompt it now to fix the purple color.
So this lab is now live. You can go through the guide. It's telling you exactly what your tasks are.
Yeah.
And then you can start getting into the devices themselves.
I love these demos because this is like a real implementation of the stuff. Dude, you always blow my mind.
It could check your work after you've finished and graded. It could tell you, give you recommendations based on the mistakes you've done, where you should go and continue your studies.
I just have to ask you this. Is this free or paid?
Everything's 100% free.
Hey everyone, David Bumble back with the amazing Karim from Cisco. Karim, great to have you back on the show.
Dave, thanks for having me back. I know last time I was here, we talked about the usage of MCP for network engineering in general, and we did a really cool demo about integrating MCP with the different network platforms and bring it all together. For today's discussion, I'm going to blow your mind with a different MCP.
I like that.
But this time, we're going to focus on certifications. I know something that you are close to, and you have some amazing videos on YouTube around our certifications. And one of the things that our distinguished engineer, Joe Clark, has recently built is an MCP server for CML. And as you know, we have CML free out there, so anybody could do what I'm talking about here. But I figured, if we're looking at, if we have AI integrated with CML, what's the hardest part of practicing in your hands-on for certification is actually getting the topologies built. Like I've seen some of the work that you do with CCNA. You release the packet tracer template so they can import it in their own packet tracer and they can start practicing. And so if we're looking at the CML MCP, now we can hook it into something like Claude Desktop and prompt Claude itself to build a topology based on the CCNA blueprint. So we don't have to decide. We just want AI to go out there, figure out which parts are hands-on, and have it build a topology. But not just that, also build lab notes for us that are as practice so we can go do the hands-on. So you're getting this hands-on experience as part of your CCNA journey and studies so you can prepare for the certification exam.
Does it check your work?
More than that. So it could check your work after you've finished and graded. It could tell you, give you recommendations based on the mistakes you've done, where you should go and continue your studies. And it could actually give you augmented or supplemental practice hands-on labs so you can get better where you're weak.
I mean, I love these demos because this is like a real implementation of the stuff rather than just like noise.
You'll see it all. The one thing that I'd like to point out that this doesn't have to stop at this